What if I told you that the best leadership advice for today's crazy world wasn't cooked up in some modern business school, but was actually thousands of years old? Well, today we're diving deep into the ancient Indian concept of the Yugas, or the Great Ages. And trust me, what we're going to uncover is a timeless playbook for leadership that is more relevant now than ever before. I mean, just think about the challenges leaders are facing right now. We're talking everything from corporate meltdowns to political chaos. What if the answers we're looking for have been hiding in plain sight, inside ancient scriptures? We're about to see how this idea of society moving in cycles, well, it just might flip the script on how we think about modern leadership. So, first things first, what in the world is a yuga? In Hindu cosmology, it's basically a massive era of time, a really, really long one. The best way to think about it is like the four seasons, but for all of humanity. Each yuga has its own distinct vibe, its own flavor, with morality and society constantly shifting. And, as you'll see, these cosmic seasons completely change the game for what it means to be a good leader. All right, you ready to do a little time traveling? We're about to take a journey through the first three of these yugas. We're going to start in the Satya Yuga. That's the golden age of truth. Then we'll move into the Treta Yuga, where rules and rituals start to pop up. And we'll finish in the Dwapar Yuga, an age full of moral gray areas and some serious political maneuvering. Now, you're going to want to pay close attention to how things change, because that progression, that's the whole story right there. Okay, this slide right here, this is the key to pretty much everything we're talking about today. It shows the journey of something called Dharma. Now, you can think of Dharma as, well, it's like righteousness, duty, and the fundamental order of the universe all rolled into one. In the Satya Yuga, Dharma is at 100%, standing strong on four pillars. But with each new age, one of those pillars crumbles. This slow decay of morality is the engine that drives all the change, forcing leaders to completely reinvent their playbooks. So let's take our first step back in time, into the Satya Yuga, the Golden Age. This is the absolute peak of the cycle. It's a time when society is built on a solid foundation of truth and spirituality. Seriously, try to imagine a world where everyone is just inherently good. That's the Satya Yuga for you. In this golden age, being righteous wasn't really a choice people had to make. It was just part of their nature. Dharma, as we saw, was propped up by four unshakable pillars: truth, compassion, austerity, and purity. And with those values baked into absolutely everyone, you didn't really need complex laws or governments. Society just worked. Things clicked. So you might be wondering, who were the leaders in this kind of utopia? Well, they definitely weren't politicians as we know them. Their power didn't come from winning elections or having the biggest army. Nope. It came from their wisdom and their moral character. They were selfless, humble, and totally guided by truth. Think less CEO and more wise sage. And the absolute prime example of this leadership style? A figure named Swayambhu Manu. This guy wasn't just a leader. He's considered the very first man and the very first king in Hindu tradition. He's the OG trailblazer. Madhu's legacy is just immense. He wasn't some conquering king. He was a visionary, a guide. He's the one who laid down the first moral blueprint for a just society, setting humanity on a righteous path right from the very beginning. You could say he was the original architect of civilization itself. But of course, a golden age can't last forever. Now we're entering the Treta Yuga, and this is where the first little cracks start to appear in that perfect foundation of Dharma. Society gets a whole lot more complicated, and leadership, well, it has to evolve just to keep up. And here it is, the big shift. Dharma is now a bit wobbly, standing on only three of its four pillars. See, virtue isn't a given anymore. Leaders can't just assume people will do the right thing. They now have to actively manage society through laws, rituals, and a really strong emphasis on duty. The age of innocence? It's over. In the Treta Yuga, leadership becomes a really heavy burden. A leader's word is their bond, and they're often forced to sacrifice their own personal happiness for the good of the people. It becomes this constant, brutal tightrope walk between what their heart wants and what the crown demands. And the ultimate embodiment of this new, duty-bound leader, that would be Lord Rama. His life story is this powerful and honestly often heartbreaking masterclass in the kinds of sacrifices that come with the job in the Treta Yuga. Rama is truly the gold standard for this kind of leadership. His kingdom, known as Ram Raja, is the stuff of legend. It's the model for perfect governance. But that perfection came at an enormous personal cost. He famously had to endure a 14-year exile and make gut-wrenching personal sacrifices, all to uphold his duty as king. His life is really a testament to the incredible weight of that crown. Now, just when you thought leadership couldn't get any tougher, we slide into the Dwapar Yuga. The world is now basically a giant chessboard of political conflict, moral gray areas, and strategic power plays. The rules of the game have completely changed. Again, take a close look here. Dharma is now cut in half, teetering on just two pillars. The path of righteousness is no longer a clear road. It's a treacherous, winding path through a forest. The world has become a battlefield of political ambition and constant strife. And in this new reality, the old leadership playbooks are basically useless. In this new age, pure idealism is a luxury that leaders just can't afford. To survive, they have to be master strategists and brilliant diplomats. They're constantly faced with what's called Dharma sankat. These are impossible moral choices, situations with no easy, clean answers. It's all about making the tough calls in the gray areas to achieve some greater good. So, who on earth could possibly lead in such a chaotic world? Enter Lord Krishna, the divine strategist. He's not a king sitting on a throne. No, he's more like a master puppeteer, pulling all the strings from behind the scenes. Krishna's leadership style is a complete 180 from Rama's. While Rama was all about following the letter of the law, Krishna was about bending the rules to serve the spirit of Dharma. He's a master of realpolitik, making these incredibly tough, sometimes even morally questionable decisions to make sure that good ultimately wins in the epic Mahabharata war. Phew. Okay, so we've journeyed through three very different ages of leadership, from a golden age of absolute truth to the murky depths of political strategy. But listen, this isn't just some ancient history lesson. Let's bring all of this wisdom back to the present day and see how it can help us navigate the challenges of the 21st century. This ancient Sanskrit verse is just pure gold. It says that a king is only respected in his own little kingdom, but a truly wise person is respected everywhere. In today's world, that's such a powerful reminder, right? Your job title might get you the corner office, but it's your knowledge, your wisdom, and your integrity that will earn you real, lasting influence. And this one, from the Mahabharata, should be posted in every boardroom and government building on the planet. A council without wise elders is not a true council. Truth does not exist where deception is present. It's a pretty stark warning. If you surround yourself with a bunch of yes men, you are absolutely doomed to fail. So what's the big takeaway from all of this? Think of it like a leadership toolkit with three essential tools. From the Satya Yuga, we get our moral compass, integrity. From the Treta Yuga, we learn the balancing act between our ideals and our real-world duties. And from the Dwapar Yuga, we get the strategic mind of a chess master. The best leaders, they know exactly which tool to use and when. And that leaves us with a really powerful question. In our world, which, let's be honest, is a messy mix of all three yugas, what kind of leader are you? Are you the selfless sage, the dutiful king, or the pragmatic strategist? The real challenge, the real art of leadership in our modern age, isn't about choosing just one. It's about knowing how to be all three.